yeah. Fire for fire. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna watch this cringe, stinky mixtape. Uh-oh. A musical delight from start to finish that sets a new standard for coming-of-age stories. Yeah, coming-of-age stories is watching teenagers kiss in HD and seeing their tongues intertwine. Also, a musical delight. By the way, no original score, at least as far as I know, and 90% of it is all licensed music, but sure, whatever you want to say is musical delight.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about all the discussions surrounding the game Mixtape. This came out a few days ago
Fart
to
tape.
sterling reviews from games journalists who are already claiming this is a potential game of the year for 2026. In fact, the ratings for this game from
If they make this game of the year, I don't know, man. It just solidifies that it's such a joke and nobody needs to take this seriously.
journalists are some of the highest we have
There's
ever
no
seen.
shot.
However, when gamers actually take a look at Mixtape, their
Game of the
response
year with
is completely
2,000
different.
peak players.
In fact, their response is nothing but mockery and claiming that this game is the epitome of modern audience slop. And despite the fact that this game feels like the most legitimate industry plant we've
A buffet of gameplay elements that come and go quickly but are always exciting. Guys! The gameplay is putting a mixtape into the CD in the game. No way. Oh my god, you're sorting through a drawer and looking through items? That's amazing. A buffet of gameplay elements, bro.
seen in quite some time, and it's being forced onto us by journalists and shills. It's only produced 2,000 concurrent players. That is the all-time peak it is experiencing a few days into its release. This game is an absolute joke, and despite being propped up by an entire industry, this is the best the modern audience can produce. So here's the description provided. On their last night together, three friends embark on one final adventure. Play through a mixtape of memories set to the soundtrack of a generation. Now, there is this clip right here that's going viral. This is some gameplay.
I saw this, I was still in the middle of moving, or like right at the start of moving, I can't remember, it's kind of a blur, and I saw this, and I was like, holy shit, I can't wait to see more of this shit.
Quote-unquote gameplay from
Wow.
Mixtape, and you can see 5 million views
That's crazy.
on this post, and most people are understanding why.
They should add this as a Dead by Daylight map. That would go hard. Such Chibi get through the sequence while pissing? Wait, did she take the keyboard with her to the toilet or something?
This game
That's
is an
based.
absolute joke.
Chibi's so funny,
Number
bro.
one, it is clunky and very unappealing to look at, but mainly it relies on 90s nostalgia bait. Unfortunately, it looks like this 90s nostalgia bait was developed by someone who didn't live in the era, instead saw the era through movies, and thought that's how things actually transpired back then. But also people are quick to point out, this is hardly a game at all. And
Wait, she didn't jump, so the game auto-climbed
we're
for
quick
her?
to point out,
She failed the space, and then it just climbs over it.
now, this is hardly a game at all. In fact, this is really just a 3-hour animated movie, because there's almost no actual gameplay in it whatsoever. And then you can see people responding to that by saying, just watch this, and now I understand the review scores. A game that requires no interaction and plays like a self-insert movie must feel like a dream product come to life.
Yes, because game journalists literally don't play video games. They don't have the brain capacity. All they can do is put fries in the bag, and even then I think they would struggle.
Recall the famously published Cuphead review, where the reviewer never successfully completed the tutorial section. And if you ever seen this related tutorial playthrough by an infamous journalist, you understand
Yeah, we've seen
why
this
they would
many
love a game
times.
like this that pretty much plays itself. But the journalists Yeah, they're hooked. Look at these reviews. Okay, 9s and 10s across the board. You would think this is a
Nintendo Life, a
generational
9.
triumph of a game. I have not seen ratings.
I bet you Baldur's Gate 3 and Expedition 33 did not get the same fucking treatment. If I cross-reference, they probably have lesser scores. Yeah, for some of them at the very least.
Across the board this high in quite some time. And of course, one of the main reviewers people are looking at is IGN, who came out and gave this a 10 out of 10. A
Best game
masterpiece,
ever.
according to them, saying it's a musical delight from start to finish.
I can't stand
Mixtape
that.
sets a new standard for coming-of-age stories in video games, and does so with a masterful sense of style. In fact, in their review,
They gave Expedition 33 a 9 out of 10. And that has an original soundtrack, and it has more than 3 hours of gameplay.
they basically say everything happening in this game is very predictable and there's no surprise factor, but it's still super fun, even though it's only a few hours long, and that this reporter played through it multiple times in a row. Wow.
The outcome doesn't change. Like, I would understand if it had different endings, but it's like, what? Why? There's no way.
Wow, that sounds so interesting, but here's the replies to the related tweet saying no wonder they gave it a high score. And of course, it has LGBTQ plus tags here and female protagonist. This one saying a 10 from IGN. You know the game
Story
is
rich
mega
is crazy
DI
too.
woke turbo trash. 7,000 likes. Here's a very, very helpful guide here. Got to keep this handy at all times. Normal reviews versus IGN reviews. They're basically the inverse of one another. Now, you can see the shills coming out in full force. This will be a theme for the rest of the video. This individual saying, if you're mad at this score, you're outing yourself as never having hobbies, never having a friend group, never having a relationship, and never being able to just stare at the ceiling with a buddy talking about life.
It's a movie about kids getting high and kissing and talking about life and not liking their parents. I don't think even kids would fucking play this game. It's too fucking weird, man.
Holy Reddit,
Yeah.
ladies
The only thing that was missing was saying that the people that are disliking this are incels.
and gentlemen. Yeah, check out this cool guy. Check out this guy with all the friends and cool memories. This is totally not some fantasy this guy has created in his head. This is very sad to read. And of course, people in the replies are saying, you may say whatever you want, but 10 out of 10 should be reserved for generational games. And this ain't it. And
If you grew up in the 80s or 90s, it's a generational. Oh my fucking god. Oh my god, you're LARPing. You're actually just full-blown LARPing at this point. You can't be... What?
the original poster says, if you grew up in the 80s/90s, it's a generational game. And of course, the replies that say, I grew up in the 90s. This game is nothing like that. LMAO, what?
The soundtrack is literally just you listening to old bangers. And I'm not saying that 80s, 90s music isn't bangers. There's so many bangers in there. But it's like they're overlooking the fact that it's just trash because it has some soy pog references in it. Oh my god, can you believe they played this song while the character is running to their friend to save them? Oh my god, look at that story development.
This game is literally what some 2000s kid would think the 80s/90s was like. It's so off base. And that's pretty much the feeling a lot of people have about...
And also rich. If you look at the bedroom, it's a rich kid's bedroom. Yeah, for sure.
sort of 90s nostalgia aesthetic they were going for. It seems so
Generational, by the
inauthentic
way.
and basically crafted by someone who never actually lived through the era, but instead experienced it through movies or media in general. But down here, you can see an interesting reply saying 90s here. Effing no, do I think a teenage kissing minigame is a generational game? This game is generational if you peaked in the 90s, not grew up in it.
Yeah.
So you're probably wondering, what are they referring to here? Well, one of the very few pieces of gameplay involves this right here.
I can't look at this.
It is a minigame where the two teenage
20 seconds, look away,
characters
chat.
tonguing each other. And that's it. And this little that's enough message, yeah, I feel like this whole thing was enough. Now, of course, like, you know, we're not here to go crazy about what's contained in a video game, right? Like, it's not really me who's going to judge you for that sort of stuff.
It's not
But keep in mind the
man.
journalists who are glazing this up, giving it a 10. They're the same journalists who are giving games like Stellar Blade a 7, essentially mocking the fact that it has appealing character design.
Well, here you go. Look, here's the reason. Several frustrating elements of its RPG. Oh no, I had some friction having to beat the bosses because I didn't have to. I couldn't just turn my brain off and not play the game. That's part of the reason why the score is low.
And fan service and
yeah,
things
I had
like
to
that,
play the
but they
game.
call
I
this
failed
a
at
masterpiece.
it.
And we're not even getting into all the journalists who will call you all sorts of things for enjoying more Japanese-style games, who are praising this as some sort of masterpiece. But let's go back to a video I uploaded 2 days ago, where I talked about Lords of the Fallen 2. Now, this is a game that has so many promising elements.
Oh my god, based. Holy honkers.
To the publishing team that wants to give gamers what they're asking for. They have been very proactive with their community, asking them, what do you guys want to see? And one of the things they have provided, in addition to everything else the game is bringing to the table, is the option to have more revealing armor designs for female characters. And you can see from Push Square here, saying Lords of the Fallen 2's idea of female armor is downright embarrassing.
Having hot chicks in a game is embarrassing? Then why do so many men that play MMOs, I can name specifically World of Warcraft, why they pick night elves and Draenei females and then give them skimpy clothing? Like, I've seen it with girls too. They want to have hot chick characters. Like, if I went to go on Twitter, like on WoW Twitter, and I went to go look at their characters, it's all just hot chicks, like cat girls for Final Fantasy and night elves for World of Warcraft.
And of course, this is Liam Crofts, the journalist who wrote that article. He also did a Mixtape review.
That's tough.
And wouldn't you know it, he calls it an instant genre classic. The second game from Beethoven and Dinosaur is a beautiful, endearing, and delightful deep dive into the teenaged angst and rebellion of the 1990s. In fact, he goes...
Rich kids rebelling in the 1990s, TPing fucking rich people's houses and getting mad at their parents for not letting them be with their loser boyfriend who doesn't do anything in life. Yeah, we watched another video that explained the plot. One of the characters, I think the third chick, not the protagonist, there was the boy, and then the third chick, her dad tells her not to fucking hang out with her with her loser boyfriend and tells her to get a real boyfriend, and she's like, grrr, no, grrr.
Of the 1990s.
And she gets all mad.
In fact, he goes further to say it is a sensational achievement with an endearing story.
Fantastic and meaningful soundtrack. Ah, yes, the Spotify playlist from the 80s and 90s. Hey, Siri, can you put on the 80s and 90s best hits list?
Amazing performances
Please.
and dialogue,
Thank
beautiful
you.
visuals and animation, and even gave it a 9 out of 10. Now, as everyone's able to quickly point out, there is a lot of hypocrisy, right? Games like Stellar Blade demonized for having fan service, but Mixtape, nope, that one's great in their eyes. And also you have people comparing it to the reaction that Pragmata got. this post saying, let's...
Yeah, zero sexualization in this game, but, you know, obvious sexualization of teenagers. Starting to think that maybe these people are just weird or something.
Review. Mixtape, a walking
And for the record, if I was a teenager, I would still think this is really weird.
Simulator where you take part in an explicit interactive kissing scene between underage children is considered a 10 out of 10 masterpiece by journalists. Pragmata, a sci-fi action game built around a wholesome father-daughter bonding story that legitimately touched people's hearts, is hounded by journalists and Twitter freaks as, and I quote, problematic and pedophilic. Yes, that was the reaction many people had. But now the shills are in a weird place, where they're trying to hype up this game, and they're being confronted with this particular scene. Now, of course, who cares, right? We're talking about fictional content, it's a video game. But so many people were quick to judge others about their choice of fictional content, and in many cases, completely wholesome fictional content, and now they're hyping this game up.
And hyper-fixating on the fact that Diana has feet, even though in the lore, there's actually a given reason. What is the point of this? What is the point of this scene? Oh, it's so awkward being a teenager. Let's remind everyone that it's awkward when you're kissing.
And they're getting hit with complaints.
Wow, that's so sensationalist.
You can see Mighty Keith here, a gigantic shill for the industry, says, I have absolutely zero knowledge of this mixtape game, but why is it making the usual weirdos...
Ah, we're the weirdos. Yes, of course.
Mad. And this person says, might be justified this time, man. This stuff is weird, especially since you play as minors, with that scene in mind. And Mighty Keith says, oh, I saw the clip, but didn't know it was minors doing it. That is mad weird, not gonna lie. Is this a revolving theme of the game? Oh, take a step back, dude. You're ready to shill for this game because it's making the usual weirdos mad, but you didn't actually look into it. And now you gotta play some moral Puritan who's pretending to hate this stuff, this particular element of the game, while trying to hype up the game to spite the weirdos on the internet.
It doesn't convey a feeling of awkwardness and is being actually weird and gross. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like it doesn't accomplish what it sets out to, and then the journalists in the articles say like, yeah, it made me feel really awkward and icky, and I'm like, that's not how it should be. Like, you just completely missed the point of this, man. When you're a teenager and you're going in for a kiss and you don't know what's going on, it's not gross, it's just you're both not knowing what you're doing. And you're not in this fucking weird spectator seat where you're looking at two people licking each other. It's just so weird.
Masterful gambit, sir. Have fun with that.
Ugh.
But of course, the shills are in full force. You can see this guy right here saying, wow, these mixtape packages.
Oh, soy pog, my consumeristic feelings. Yes. Oh, the dopamine.
The development team sent contain a fully functioning CD player and retro headphones straight from the game. This is so cool.
This is so cool. Look at this thing that costs like $1 to make. Wow, a hacky sack, bro.
Jeez Louise.
Guys, remember hacky sacks? Remember the headphones?
Man, I wonder why this guy is speaking positively about this game.
Absolute
and you can see the
Reddit
comments
moment.
saying, y'all got a goodie bag, so you have it higher review? Effing lowlifes. And the original poster said, didn't review it, slob.
That is such cap. If you get something for free, that's you getting incentivized to fucking do something. There's no shot.
Well, the fact that you feel so defensive about someone pointing that out is
gifted
very
stuff.
suspect.
Yeah.
I wonder if you would be speaking so positively or having such a cavalier attitude towards this game if they didn't provide you a goodie bag.
His whole first tweet is a commercial. I love when they just don't disclose that. People realize it, like, pretty much immediately.
Fair question. But then again, people are...
Oh my god, they actually... This is how you know it's Reddit. It's ordinary fucking, like, objects under the guise of it being, like, special. Hubba Bubba chewing gum you can get at the fucking store for, like, $1. Or maybe not $1 now, but, like, $2.
question.
A hacky sack,
people
a ring pop, like, bro, this is so Reddit coded.
Also pointing out something very important. Indie game owned by the daughter of Oracle founder somehow has the capital to fill their interactive nepo baby movie with licensed music and ship soy crates full of branded BS to the softest Reddit man children you've ever seen. But don't you dare call this an industry plant. And
bro, that is...
Don't you dare call...
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I'm like head nodding. I'm playing music right now. Just... Bro, no music's playing. What are you doing?
Call this an industry plant. And that is a very good point, okay?
Whoa, bro.
The indie game is in fact owned by the daughter of the Oracle founder. An incredibly wealthy
I love my
nepo
slop.
baby. And this game just so happens to come out with the approval of the entire gaming industry, while the...
I also love the fact that they give you a mixtape, but it's not a CD of the original soundtrack. It's a CD full of licensed music that's not even for the game. Yeah, and it's not even a fucking tape either. It's a burnt CD with a bunch of licensed music. Like, I'm not shitting on, like, actually getting CDs in the mail from, like, deluxe editions or whatever the fuck, because it's like you're supporting the game. This is literally just, like, all of the songs they put in the game that they bought.
The approval of the entire
It's
gaming
so
industry,
cringe.
while the game itself and its studio is shipping out these deluxe boxes to everyone.
I have a
Meanwhile,
fingerboard,
it's
too.
grabbing
It's right here.
roughly 2,000
I have
players.
a fingerboard.
How would they ever have the budget and the reach to accomplish all of this? But the shills aren't done. You can see Andy Cortez here, who took a break from wishing weird thoughts about Asmongold's dad, to say this.
Oh
Mixtape is going
parasocially saying what Asmon's dad would think of him. I fucking hate that shit. That is parasocial schizo shit that I will never understand.
to deservedly win so many awards.
Yeah,
and
his dad would be so
everyone will
disappointed
be
in
very
him.
normal about it. Yikes, dude. This person says the tourist wants to believe a game with a current peak of just under 1.8k is going to win so many awards.
I have a feeling, because he's so confident in saying this, and I don't want it to be true, but I think he actually might be right. He actually might be right, because he knows that they're going to pay to give them awards at the award show. He's giving it away!
And he says
He's not supposed to make it so
bookmark this,
obvious.
tourist. Well, I guess the tourist complaints
I don't know,
are
I could
coming
be
from
wrong.
inside the room.
That would be cool if
But
it wasn't, but...
who cares? Okay? If this game does win awards, it just proves that this whole thing is a bunch of nonsense, right? It's just a club of people patting each other on the back. That's all it is, right? Mixtape getting all this praise from games journalists, yeah, it might go off and win awards. Not because gamers actually like it, but because journalists and shills like this are praising it. Because they want to get some sort of an own on people they don't like. And it's very, very transparent. This is the most...
There are certain companies that don't give out sponsorships to people to play games, but they still allow them to play games because it would be morally incorrect to bar them from playing games. But I take the people that don't take sponsorships more seriously. Like, yeah, obviously, if I want to support my favorite streamer and watch them play a sponsored game, I'm going to do it because I want them to get their bag. But I'll also take it with a grain of salt.
Force game we've seen in some moment. Industry plant is a phrase we hear all the time.
Yeah.
Even like Expedition 33 had that label. That was not deserved.
Which was
This
weird
game,
as
Mixtape,
fuck.
Industry plant, that is a label that is well deserved, ladies and gentlemen. But here's a pretty good rundown, okay? Choppy animation, coming of age story, 90s nostalgia bait.
The choppy animation is on purpose. It's not even because it's poorly optimized. That was a decision made to mimic the animations that like Spider-Man verse or whatever the fuck it's called, and the studio that makes these types of games. They're trying to mimic them so bad.
Flipping things off blows them up. Yeah, this might be the most Reddit video game of all time. And at the end of the day, despite all of the shilling, all of the motion directed towards this game, trying to convince you it is a generational achievement, 2,000 players. That's it. Will this game even really make a profit for them? I mean, think about, they licensed mainstream music labels, by the way. The cost of this game had to be significant, especially for an indie studio. But I guess this is really just a passion project for someone who is a nepo baby, right? And now they're just throwing around funds to make sure the entire industry is propping this up, and all of the journalists and shills have a reason to defend and promote it. And it's so transparent. Like I said, every game...
Well, the more obvious they make it, the easier it is to point it out without sounding like a schizo. I actually appreciate it more that they're making it more obvious rather than gaslighting you and make you feel like you're crazy.
...sees through this. There's such a dichotomy here. Where on the one side, you got the shills, the activists, the journalists saying this is the greatest thing ever. And everyone else, the real target audience, gamers, who are saying this is a load of pretentious nonsense. But anyways, that's going to do it for this discussion. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, consider subscribing, and turning on notifications for daily uploads and multiple streams a week here on YouTube. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.
What other games are more deserving of the Game of the Year award? I will eat my own tail rope if this fucking game gets a fucking Game of the Year. Or, like, even gets nominated. Honestly, if it even gets nominated, that's honestly a sign that it's just a meme. Pragmata, RE9, yep. It's gonna be nominated. I will eat my own tail rope. Forza these nuts. That's insane. Yo, Kai, what up? Thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. What does your tail taste like? Cotton candy. The blue one. The blue cotton candy. You gotta remember, Daddy's a billionaire, so it's gonna get nominated. That's so sad. I feel like if I was a billionaire, if my kid was failing constantly, I would just tell him, like, bro, just hang it up already, dude. I'll buy you a McDonald's franchise, and you can, like, make passive income off of that. Instead of wasting my fucking money on this garbage dog shit. I would just do that. Go check them out, that's fun. Add soon? Okay. Alright. Them's the breaks, little bro? Yeah. Then you can't fail constantly to put some good content in the past. No, I know what you're talking about. We discussed this. The people that made the good games before, they all left. They all left way before this game came out. Because apparently the studio that made Stray, the devs and the people that made that game, they left. I'm like, so it's a husk of a corpse, basically. Not even made published? Oh, I don't think I remember that. Maybe I did. I remember someone did say that. Maybe I don't remember. Yeah, so they even published this. It's just a publisher. Annapurna is the publisher, yeah. Oh, I see. So that makes it even funnier, honestly. I published this game. It's a massive success. I'm gonna go grab some water. I'm drying out super bad. Outer Wilds as well. Wasn't Outer Wilds kind of a fucking flop, though? Oh no, wait, I'm thinking of another one. Not Outer Wilds. Why did I say Outer Wilds? What's that game that Activision published that was ass? Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds, that was what I was thinking of. That was ass. Yeah, I got those two mixed up. Overwatch, Oversnatch. Inner worlds when? That's when you inwardly look at yourself that you're a piece of shit. How do we do that?
Fire, fire, fire.